Broken wings, broken backs, and smashed championship hopes. We're talking about all this and more on today's episode of Crash Course. Well, how are we doing, Ferrari fans? Are you alright? Are we feeling okay? Are the emotions under control? Have you stopped crying yet? As it was, of course, a terrible GP for the prancing horses today in Baku, with a double retirement for both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. With the latter starting in pole, hopes were high that he'd finally be able to show what he'd got and take his first win since Australia today, after losing out in Spain and Monaco thanks to reliability and a strategy error. However, luck was once again not on the Monegasque side, as he went up in a plume of smoke from P1 barely 10 laps after his teammate, who suffered a similar fate retiring from a hydraulic problem. Making this the second time in 3 races that Leclerc has suffered an engine failure, he shared his frustration and confusion, saying, "It hurts. We've been fast and we didn't have particularly big problems in the first part of the season. Now it seems like we have a bit more when we didn't change anything. So it's difficult to understand for now." Thanks to all this, Leclerc now sits 34 points behind Verstappen, and Sainz even further back at 67. In the Constructors though, things are just as bad, with Red Bull extending their lead to over 80 points from the Scuderia, capitalising on the Ferrari's misfortune with a 1-2 finish once again. Now, I know it is still super early in the season, but even still, the question is still being thrown around by everyone on Twitter, in the paddock, in this bedroom: are Ferrari out of it? Is this championship already over? Have the Italian stallions absolutely bottled this championship before it's had a chance to get going properly? Now, realistically, I don't have the answers. What do you expect? This is Crash F1, not Sky Sports. But I do, of course, like everybody else on the internet, have an opinion. And boys and girls, all I'm going to say is, right, it wasn't that long ago that Leclerc was sitting 34 points clear of Verstappen, and we were all saying the same thing, just the other way around. So things can change quickly. Obviously, these constant issues and retirements from Ferrari aren't good, and are not what Ferrari need right now if they want to challenge for either championship. I know I'm just stating the obvious, but the deeper they go into this season with these constant problems, issues, retirements, the less time they're going to have to make up for it in the rest of the season. So whether you think this title battle's over already or you still have hope, one thing we can agree on is that Ferrari need to get this stuff sorted. And now! Christ, that was a bit dramatic, wasn't it? Although it's not just the Ferrari factory team that's been having issues, as today we saw some customer teams struggling as well, as K-Mag's engine went bang and Zhou Guanyu had technical issues which put a premature end to his day, which up to that point had been decent. Like, I'll be honest, I was expecting Zhou to come into F1 and be a B-Tech Latifi, but he's actually done a lot better than I thought he would. Obviously, he's nowhere near Bottas's level, but he has had a lot of bad luck thus far, so keep an eye on him because I reckon he's going to have a standout moment soon enough. Speaking of standing out though, one driver today had issues with standing up once the race had finished, with 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton really struggling with back pain caused by the excessive porpoising on that Mercedes. As Verstappen and co were celebrating in Parc Ferme, we saw Lewis fighting to get out of the cockpit as he barely had the strength to pull himself out and stand up. The Mercedes driver had even admitted before the race that his back was a real mess, and that on Friday we had so much bottoming I could not finish my long runs. So it was no real surprise to us watching when we heard him on the team radio only halfway through the race letting out a, my back is killing me. But it's not just the 37-year-old that's been struggling, with Russell also describing it as brutal, and other drivers such as Magnussen experiencing similar issues throughout the season so far. Now, as someone who sits at a desk editing all day, I'm no stranger to back issues. In fact, my back is bloody killing right now. So Lord knows Lewis is going to have a rough few days ahead of him before he has to go out there and do it all over again at Canada. From damaged backs though to damaged wings, Yuki Tsunoda also got super unlucky in today's race, with half of his DRS flap breaking whilst he was sitting in the top 5. The Japanese driver was thus forced into the pit lane, and many assumed that they'd simply be retiring the car. However, the AlphaTauri boys used their intuition and pulled out the big guns: duct tape, taping up the wings so that Yuki could get back out there and finish the race. Which he did. Of course he did. It's duct tape. We all know this. Duct tape fixes anything. If it doesn't fix it, you're not using enough duct tape. However, the FIA didn't seem quite as pleased with the Italian team's handiwork, with Karun Chandok reporting that Joe Barra from the FIA has come stomping down the pit lane. Unfortunately, he got there about 5 seconds too late. This may not be something that the FIA are particularly happy with. At present, nothing else has been said about the matter from the FIA, but that may just be because the AlphaTauri team have duct taped their mouth shut. Anyway, boys and girls, my predictions. I said Leclerc pole, Verstappen win, and a Mercedes podium, and guess what happened, lads? A Leclerc pole, Verstappen win, Mercedes podium, ding, ding, ding! Huge W. Maybe after all, I am an F1 expert. Sky Sports, get me on. Crash higher ups if you're watching this, get me out there, lads. You've seen Ted's notebook. Aiden's notebook's up next. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all the main talking points from the race at Baku this weekend. I think the only thing I really ignored was Vettel going straight on when he was trying to make a move on Gasly. Wasn't a great move, Sebastian. You could have done better. You should have done better. But yeah, overall, decent Grand Prix. Maybe not quite as chaotic as some of the other ones we've seen at Baku in recent years, but generally speaking, it didn't put me to sleep, so you can't complain. So yeah, I guess that's it from me today, lads. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'll be back here again next week recapping everything you need to know ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, including an update on Lewis Hamilton's back issues. However, if Lewis's back hasn't improved and he can't race this weekend, I might not be here because Mercedes might call me up and be like, yo, Aiden, can you come race for him because we know you're rapid. But unless that happens, I'll be here, I promise. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Aiden, this has been Crash Course. Until next time, goodbye.